station, and I keep forgetting to leave the foot switch key down for a second after I'm done. And this is W2ENY.
Good job.
Making people self-conscious since 1964.
See you later, Bob.
And Steve, to answer your question before, I got to measure that because it's got to be a known value, and I can just have like some kind of wacky stopwatch going on here and watch the carrier drop out, whether I use it here or SDR or web SDR or whatever. But it seems to be about half a second, 3/4 of a second, something like that. And I'm connected. What is it? UPND or UDP, whatever it is. It's not TCP/IP.
UDP is usually faster, but half a second is a lot. Yep, I've got so much latency here. I watched the entire Super Bowl. You guys want to know who won?
Yeah, yeah, that could help out my betting.
Reverse latency, that's what you need. Anyway. Hello, Perry. W2PHO.
Hey, what's up, Phil? Good evening, man. Good signal. Yeah, I gotta get pregame stuff on there. Looks like it's, they said it's gonna be like 90 degrees or something. Like on the field, or I heard something about that the other day. I guess it's gonna be a real strain for the HVAC system in this place.
I'm not even, the only thing I'm looking forward to is the Dr. Evil / Austin Powers commercial.
Yeah, that's right. All the commercials. That's the big attraction, huh? What
Yep. No more Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. I don't even know who's the entertainment this time around.
Let me find out. I think I knew halftime show. It's gonna be. Who the hell is it gonna be? Doesn't halftime show 2022. Looks like Snoop Dogg or something. Yeah, it looks like Snoop and Dr. Dre.
Man, I'm surprised they trust Snoop Dogg to be on time.
Yeah, it's Snoop, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, and Mary J. Blige. So it's like rap from my childhood. and Mary J. Blige too. It's like my whole tribe. I don't know who Kendrick Lamar is, but I know everybody else.
All right. Well, something else I'm not looking forward to seeing. There you go.
Yay. Oh man, so yeah, I bought a new toolbox. This new Snap-on toolbox. Got it. It's in there the shop this morning, setting it all up. Man, I'll be paying that off for the next 7 years.
Oh man, tools are awesome. The last tool I bought was a smoke machine. My dad's Toyota. Found out that the freaking chipmunks like chewing on the freaking evap hoses. So, but man, that thing worked like a charm.
Oh yeah, having the right tools is what it's all about. Yeah, man, makes life easy. That's for sure. And I'm on the website now, on Snap-on's website. They make like so many accessories for these things, like from the drawer guards to color of the wheels to edge, everything. You can attach to the side of it. Anything you can imagine. they offer, and offer like, 3 times the price of anyone else on the planet Earth.
God, yeah, I got a W2PH. I've got to go through. I keep saying this, but I've been saying this for the last 25 years. So my grandfather was an auto mechanic, and his garage was filled with everything, from tools going back to the 1930s. So I've got all that stuff, and so I've got toolbox after toolbox with, mismatched sockets, and and I keep saying I gotta go dump everything out, and then just match everything back up. The right ratchets with the right sockets, and try to build up, some actual. It doesn't matter, right? You use a Snap-on 9/16 or a Blue Point 9/16, but it'd be nice if I could organize everything and build up a couple of complete toolboxes. I don't know. I got those really old toolboxes with the leather handles, with they're like a triangular top, and you open them up and you got the tray inside. God, it even smells old, those things. It smells of old grease. But, oh, man, I got to fix that stuff up. See, now I'm starting to feel bad. I got to clean up. I'm getting the itch.
That's where I was getting at with it, man. It was just, everything was, getting jammed on top of each other. I was running out of room. I had stuff piled on the outside of my box, and I had these 2 really large roll carts, and one service cart, a little roll around one. The other ones were quite big, but I get a lot of tools that are in plastic cases and things like that. But I do need to get some wrench organizers. That would be nice. But yeah, this thing's got a nice, charging drawer in it, electronic charging drawer. It's got outlet strip built inside, and it's got holsters for all your cordless drills and cordless ratchets and things like that. And so man, that's an old toolbox if it has anything leather on it.
Yeah, I got one rolling cart, Craftsman, with a I think this is a Blue Point, gigantic Blue Point toolbox on top of it, And that's where I keep most everything I use all the time. But then I've got all these other toolboxes that are just squirreled away in the garage. So yeah, fun stuff. The wrenches are a complete mess. But one thing at a time. It's to look at it all, it's overwhelming. But that's what I got to do. I got to dump it all out on the driveway one day, and just sit there and sort through everything.
Exactly. Just, there we go. Is this better? And all the naysayers hated the old way, so. And the original N1 BCG is back.
Yeah, I can clearly see it on the pan adapter, too. The audio is in the right spot now. Much better than ever.
Uh-oh, that sounds like something was burning up there. Is that you, George?
Yeah.
All right, because in the background of your transmission, there was it's sort of like a Jacob's ladder.
Uh-oh. Yay. You're still hearing it? I'm not.
No, before it was doing it. Now it's okay, fine business.
Yeah, because this is the ICO, and I've been on it the last few days without all those issues. And I found a couple of bad cables, and I found a loose connection. I got to get our cleaning lady to stop moving these things around. She moves the modulator, and it loosens the plug in the back. And then she moves the Kenwood TL922. And one of the elbows that I have on the back of it was loose. So I haven't had any problems with this in the last few days. He gave me a heart attack. N2LJO.
No, it sounds fine now, but it was there was some kind of going on in the background, but it sounds good now.
Yeah, I don't know what that could have been, but okay, thank you.
Yeah, something sounds a little funky. I don't know. Let me try something. Come back. Hold on a second here, George. Come back for a second, George.
Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Now was the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country.
Okay. Never mind. I hear a little fan noise in the background. I thought it might have been a hum, but that's all I hear here.
Yeah, well, the Kenwood amp has a loud fan on it.
W2PHL. George, one thing that's happening, there's a little hum in there, and when you first key, your frequency dips about 300-400 hertz, like really fast, and then it slowly drifts back to where you started. So there's like that little, like when you first key, there's this dip in frequency.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. This is not the Ranger either. This is the ICO, and one
Oh, wow.
ICO VFO has a problem. Or if it's the transmitter doing it. Huh. Thank you for pointing that out.
George, you know what that is? It's RF getting into your audio. That's what it is. It's that it definitely sounds like RF.
You're definitely going up in frequency, though. Phil, you hit the nail on the head with how you described it.
Yeah, it looks like a hockey stick. Your carrier almost looks like a hockey stick on the waterfall.
That's amazing. I guess I have another DDS VFO.
Yeah, a little distortion in there, too. Yeah, there's something a little bit going on.
And you hear the hum kind of go away as it straightens out.
Interesting. All right, well, this thing may have to go on the bench. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you. Thought I had it all straightened out.
This is amateur radio. We never have it all straightened out.
They sent you a screenshot, George.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I have the screen on the scope on 7610 in front of me here. I could look at it myself.
Yeah, a screenshot from Phil is like getting a pink slip.
Uh-oh. Wow, look at my counter.
And by screenshot, I mean I hold the phone up to the screen and I take a photo of it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the scope here, and I'm looking at my frequency.
Whoa.
Counter when I key up.
Yeah, I had to zoom in so that your signal took up the whole screen, and then it's pretty easy to see the shift in frequency.
Gotcha. Okay. I will take a look at that now. Thank you very much.
All right.
Oh, some idiot.
Everybody got a rig and they're trying it out.
Dude, that was like tearing me up all the way up and down the band. Did anybody else see that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's intentional QRM.
Now, Perry, seeing it, that's sort of a relative term. For me, I can't relate to that.
No, I know. I was wondering because I mean it looks like almost like power line noise. If anybody has seen it on a pan adapter, like a switching supply up and down 75 meters along with this guy's carrier. It's pretty wild. Never seen anything like it.
Hey, Clark, you'll send you a screen.
I don't know, Perry. That can be a coincidence. I do see the carrier, but everything else looks the same.
Yeah, it could be. It probably. Yeah, it might be a coincidence because it doesn't make much sense. Yeah, it's not there now. There's the carrier, so ding, ding, ding. I was wrong.
Well, that happens to me a lot. Coincidental, like you push the remote for you to unlock your car, and somebody's horn down the street blows.
Yeah. It's like stuff happens around the house, or I forget that I put something somewhere, and it shows up, and I'm like, oh, it's a ghost.
My wife had a perfect example of that this week. You know those big mittens that you wear to handle the hot stuff out of the stove?
Yes.
She had a pair of them. They were getting a little grungy. She threw them in the laundry. The laundry got done. They went through the dryer, come out. There's only one. She went through everybody's clothing that she took up to the bedrooms, could not find the second mitt. Looked in the dryer to see if she had missed it. Nowhere. 2 days later, she does another batch of laundry. When she takes the clothes out of the dryer, there's the mitt.
That's right. It was in somebody's pant leg.
Did Betty Crocker used to own that house? Could be her ghost.
W2SDR.
Hey, Pop.
That's what she said. It must be a ghost.
Has to be.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I just heard on the news that Neil Young is going to be performing on the halftime show, and that Joe Rogan is going to introduce him.
Won't that be well worth watching?
Jeez.
Hey, Frank. And yeah, half the audience won't know who Neil Young is, and the other half won't know who Joe Rogan is.
That would be. Let's see. Who's the musician?
It really is, I think Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and there's Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay, yeah, so, yeah, cool. Usually it's pretty good, the halftime show. Regardless of who's on, it's a cool spectacle.
What a hip-hop lineup.
All the millennials will get up and say, he doesn't look young.
I don't think Neil Young is a Super Bowl halftime performer. Well, he could be, I guess. He probably can't stay up that late anymore.
Yes, sir. All right, very good.
Yeah, I like the Phil brought up a good point. Obviously, the commercials. I forgot, but I remember now about the commercials is the big thing. Now, I wonder how much the commercial price is up to. Let's find out. Google is a tell-all.
Advertised during the Super Bowl, because what do you think everybody does the moment the commercials come on? They get up and they go to the bathroom.
No, to tell you the truth, Clark, if you watch the Super Bowl and the history of it, there's a lot of people, the only reason they watch it is because of the commercials.
Fair enough, because the first thing I do after Super Bowl is I trawl YouTube, trawl, T-R-A-W-L, trawl YouTube looking for the Super Bowl spots. I don't know why Madison Avenue can't generate spots that good all year long, but they should.
$7 million.
Yeah, it's well, folks look forward to it. It's cool that they hold back those ads until the Super Bowl, and then they'll play them through. Some of them, the bigger companies' ads, they'll play those ads throughout the year, but. It's cool that they wait to the Super Bowl. They do it then because, it's a lot of people watch it, man. It's like at the top of the ratings every year.
Let's see the Clydesdale and Puppy ad.
These suits that these guys wear today, I haven't worn a suit in many years since I left my desk-type job, but... Man, it's like they spray on the pants,
Have you?
Yeah, and back in my day, everyone would yell, "Hey, the flood is over."
Have you?
Right, and the shoe style makes their feet look like size 18, and and the peg pants, and sneakers with a $1,000 suit.
That's hamwear.
There's this guy. I don't know if anybody here watches football or have seen the pregame or postgame show. There's on, I think it's NBC or CBS or Fox, and he's probably 5'6", but he's a real short, stocky guy, and like you said, that it literally looks like the suit is sprayed on the guy, and he's about to burst out of it.
You have seen those body paintings, right? Maybe it is sprayed on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we got about 3 inches of snow over here today. There's light snow all day.
We got here 3 inches.
Oh, boy, George.
Yeah, there was again.
Squealing again?
Money is on RF getting into your audio.
I don't have that with any other radio here. EA... I don't know.
I don't know. Dude, George, when you keyed up for that 1 second, and we said, oh, there it is, it was just complete distortion and like a hum. So, RF for what? It only does it, seems to do it after you're silent for a while, and then you key up, and it does it that first for a little bit, because it wasn't there, that second transmission.
Interesting. Wonder if it's a bad cap. I don't know. Sounds like this thing's going to be heading out to the workbench. Wonderful.
Hey, are you using a mic with a PTT switch on it? Are you actually holding the mic when you key up?
No, negatory, good buddy. No, I have a mic and a boom and a separate push-to-talk button in my hand.
All right, so just for laughs, while you're keyed up, this is not a joke, it's not a prank. While you're keyed up, grab onto the microphone and then let go and say, okay, this is me holding the mic, this is me letting go, because it really sounds like there's RF getting in at a very early stage, and I'm wondering if the mic's picking it up, or maybe if there's a grounding issue.
Okay, I could do that. All right, so I let go of the plunger. I am holding the mic. I am letting go of the mic. I am holding the mic. I am letting go of the mic. Notice anything?
Nah, it's something else.
It's funny because I can see my frequency changing here on the pan adapter the longer I stay keyed up. And now it's stabilized. Wow. That is really weird. Oh, well, I guess I have another project. At least the Psycho was not too heavy.
Yeah, and it seems to be the worst, right? It's most obvious when you first key up. And it just seems to get better as it progressively goes on, like you said. And then it stabilized. I could see it here on the waterfall. But, I gotta love the old stuff, man. Gotta love it. W3 MMR.
Well, I've had this thing running for over 2 years until recently with no issues, so I can't complain for a 62-year-old radio. First thing I'm going to do is test all the tubes. I can't tell you how many times, I would say half the time I've had a problem over the years with all the different rigs, half the time it's the tube. And I hear guys all the time looking for problems, and it's like, did you test the tubes? No, why? So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'll test the tubes and the modulator and the VFO and the transmitter and go from there.
They actually hit on that in most of the operator manuals of the old rigs, that most problems are just worn out tubes. But if you run into a bigger problem, send it to a qualified repair technician.
George, I think Perry put his finger on it that, when you first key up, it's very noticeable, and then very quickly after the first couple of seconds, it seems to even itself out.
Okay. No, I appreciate all the info and critique. Thank you. Yeah, I could see the frequency changing. I could see it, and then I could see when it stops. Wow. Yeah, Charlie. Well, look, going back to when I was a kid, how many times did my father take the back off the TV and take the tubes down to the either to the TV store or to the drugstore? The drugstores had tubes and tube testers there. And I've bought radios really cheap, quote unquote, not working at Hamfests. And it was a tube. It was a bad tube. And let's see. I'll start with that and go from there. I don't think I have any cables left to change, and the change in frequency is not a bad cable. So, and I don't think the change in frequency would come from RF getting into the audio. So, we'll see. Now I have to take this apart. Oh well.
When's the last time you tuned it up, like move frequency, or like adjusted the buffer or the grid or whatever?
Oh, probably a month or more. I leave it parked here now. I mean, it could, like, the cleaning lady might have hit one of the knobs. I could retune it and see if that makes a difference. But it wouldn't change frequency, Phil.
Well, I don't know what the circuit's like, but I know if you have, like, not enough grid drive, wonky things can happen.
Yeah, amen to that.
All right. I will go on the dummy load, and I will retune the transmitter and see if that makes any difference. That would be cool. All right. Very good. I will try it. I will be back. N2LJO.
I'll be back.
Which one is it?
The ICO.
It says ICO by the
standing
Dixie
by.
Cups, or if you like the later version, the Bell Stars.
Oh, my ICO drips a little more than a little tiny bit in the beginning. 3 hours later, mine's still drifting.
At this point, the affiliates might break away from the main transmission, but we'll be back with you in quite just a few minutes. That didn't really sound official.
That's right. We take a break now for a word from our local sponsor. Stations, the local break is coming down in 3, 2, 1. And then you hear this. Where all the Q sensors are getting triggered.
What, are you in the battle mode this evening, Clark?
I earlier was trying out an Optimod 9000A, and people led by Steve QIX ridiculed the sound of it, so I dispensed with it.
Yeah, because your pattern looks a lot different than it normally does.
Yeah. He was ramming so much signal through his little FETs that they're all like widened out now. I hope they go back into shape.
Yeah, I think I got to let him sit overnight in order for that to happen.
I'd soak them in water.
Yeah. Who's up on 85 tonight?
Oh, the Splatter Brothers?
I said, who is it? I didn't say anything. They're not splattering here.
You've got the trifecta of Bruce, Tom, and Frank.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the trifecta. You're too funny.
These receivers I've got over here must be getting better with age. I'm not hearing anything coming down from 85 tonight.
Well, it depends, I guess, on the skip and all the rest of it. But, you need a pretty sharp filtering and this and that, I guess. But it just depends on location. It's like real estate. W2SDO.
You just have to run a couple of times legal limit and ram your audio into a clipper, and then you're in great shape.
No, it's we've talked about this before. I think everyone knows where I stand on that issue.
That horse is still dead.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
see some quivering.
I have limited
definitely
friends
see some
anyway, and I
quivering.
can't afford to have any less.
Yeah, W3 MMR, because I haven't said it in a while. Just to eat my Elios.
So, who do you guys? Do you have any preferences for the Super Bowl winners? I'm rooting for the Bengals because they're kind of the underdog, sort of, and so I'm kind of leaning towards them tonight.
Agreed. I'm right there with you.
But I hope it's a good game. I hope it's good. That it's decided on the final possession, like all the rest of those playoffs were. The playoffs this year were the best that I think I can ever remember, from start to finish, as far as being extremely exciting games.
I'm only watching for the Neil Young mid show.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself that I kind of like the halftime entertainment to win.
Yeah, I enjoy the halftime entertainment. I always do. It's unbelievable, the show that they put on, how they can do that. I mean, the spectacle is very, very good.
Yeah, and they, especially having to do it so fast, getting in and out. Everything's set up, back off the field. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Bengals. Definitely going to be a Bengals fan this evening. I'm rooting for baseball to come back, if it's ever going to come back. That's what I'm really rooting for.
Perry, are you watching this commercial? Are you watching it now? I mean, you should have seen this Doritos ad. The Doritos are always the best ones. It's like Bradshaw and those guys that are in like Cheetos pajamas and stuff.
I haven't really watched any of them. I'm in the shack, so I don't have it streaming out here. Let me put it on.
Oh man, see, they start playing them early in the afternoon, the ads. I mean, they don't wait till the game starts. And those pajamas, Joe Montana. Oh man, whoever's transmitting now, I hear.
They're on 80. I don't know who could fit there and not get blasted out by everybody.
Yeah, but it's like those budget airlines. There's always somebody who's going to seek out the middle seat. Holy crap. Well, I got to work on this.
Yeah, if I wanted to cause an issue, I can go down and just bypass the Innovonics 223 and get on the FT101. That thing is, it's just on a hiss. I mean, that thing is like you could hear me on 40 meters.
We should just do that. We should just have ham radios off their medication, ham radio ops off their medication QSO, and see how that goes.
I try to stay off the air when I'm off my medication, to be honest with you. I disconnect the AC cord.
Oh, come on. 7200 is beckoning.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Sean Penn. They got him there. I'll tell you, that guy's still in good physical condition, man. I'll tell you. I mean, he spends some time in the gym.
Yeah, just don't try to take a picture of him when he's in a bad mood.
Yeah, they're showing all the celebrities now. Mark Wahlberg. There's Sean Penn. Man, Sean Penn is freaking ripped.
That's what I just said. I mean, the guy takes care of himself, man. It's like, really.
Well, yeah, I'm like 15 seconds behind you here with the stream out here on the computer. So I just saw it. But yeah, man, he's sitting there with his arms bent. Yeah, Sean Penn. I wonder how much the cheapest Super Bowl ticket is.
Oh God! If you can get them, hundreds and hundreds, I guess. It's just. I mean, I'd love to go. I mean, just the whole event and stuff. You know, I was talking about like Hamvention today. You know, if I spent all that money and get somebody with the Pats and all the rest of it, it wouldn't be for a ham fest. I mean, I'd be going to Italy. I'd be going to Isle Morada, going on, taking you, Perry, down in big game fishing in the Florida Keys. If I went to Florida, it would not be, or doing a trip like that with getting somebody to watch the Pats, it wouldn't be to rummage through used PL 259s.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, because there's a lot of expense there, and it adds up quick. And if I'm going to Florida, I'm going fishing. God damn it!
Oh, yeah. I gotta go down to Key Largo and do the snorkeling. You can go swim with the sharks, which all look like great whites to me, but apparently there's a nurse shark there that's totally friendly, so don't worry about it. Well, at least that's what the skipper of the boat told me.
Well, I agree with you. 100%, Clark. I mean, I love Hamfest, but I am not going to spend, and it would be at least $1,000 or over to go to Orlando to Hamvention. I mean, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm not going to rummage through that junk. I'm going to enjoy myself snorkeling, enjoying the hot weather, the warm weather down there, fishing, something like that, but not going to a ham fest. I mean, just not going to do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and look, I just found a whole box of second-hand silver-plated PL 259s.
Look,
Charlie, and for the money you just spent to get to that ham fest and buy those, you could have gone down to Jupiter, Florida, tune boat, loaded it up with all kinds of exotic drinks, and strolled your way up and down the intercoastal waterway. With that drink in your hand with the little umbrella thing sticking out. Yeah, you weigh it out.
Yeah, Perry and I had so much fun at Sussex. To me, Sussex would be more enjoyable than Orlando. Of course, yeah, you see all the new manufacturers and stuff down there. I see all that new equipment on the internet. I don't have to see it in person. So the people, I mean, I don't know. That's just me, but it's a diverse hobby, and people do different stuff.
Good Lord, that was wide. Yeah, here's the ticket prices. On the 1st of January, okay, cheapest ticket is $4,246. The cheapest lower level ticket is $6,500. Most expensive single ticket is $71,539 for a luxury suite. So that's how much LeBron and Magic Johnson and Sean Penn are paying for their ticket to get one of them boxes. $72,000.
Well, it's all relative, man. It's all relative. They may even be getting comped.
You're right. Exactly. These sponsors, there's a good chance that they work for probably some of these sponsors.
Ernie said we sound good down there in Jasper, Perry. How do I look on the pan adapter?
You look about 800 kcs wide.
Yes. Thanks.
Up to 38.95.
Okay, well, anyway, but it's Ernie says you sound good, we sound good, everyone sounds good, so that's great. I'll go back to normal here. I just wanted to mess for a minute.
Hello to Ernie, if that's Ernie out there.
That's a little bit better, right?
Yeah, just do. Wait, I can play too.
Oh boy, I don't want to play. You guys are gonna make me play.
No, it's all fun.
Oh, forget that. You guys are switching topics really fast there for a second. W2PHL. Sean Penn, a recent movie that I saw with him where he was excellent and was The Professor and the Madman. Second topic was Super Bowl ticket prices. No comment. Third topic, ham fests. So I'm going to confess what I do, and it's I put the L on my forehead. But if to get a well, for me, flea markets, ham fest, the thing I like most is going around and looking under the tables and trying to find something, like when the guy first pulls up, especially at Near Fest, be around and get the first, dibs on something. So you go to eBay and you set up a search for the latest stuff in the category, like ham radio, and you set it for newest listed, and you set it for buy it now, and you put a shortcut on your desktop. And yes, I do this, and a couple of times a day you just click on it, and it's as if you're at a ham fest and you're looking at all the new stuff that just arrived.
That
N2LJO.
That's hey George, right, we'll get right over to you. So yeah, like you get emails and stuff. I get emails on past search terms and stuff like that. So it's, I guess that's what you're talking about. What's up, George?
Well, it's the band switch in the VFO. Oh my God. When I just touched it, it was jumping all over, and I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Sometimes you get a switch that's a little dusty, but this has a problem. So that is what's going on. So I'm on the Ranger, and you know what? Of the three pieces, the transmitter, the modulator, and the VFO is the easiest one to disconnect and the lightest one to carry. So hopefully that's the extent of the problem. It's really, really bad. You just touch the thing and the frequency hops all over the place.
Do you have any crystals, George?
No, I have one actually for I do have one for $38.85 that I just got. I haven't tried it yet. And I guess I could put that in there too and see.
Yeah, obviously that would be definitive. And Perry, Ernie's listening on live stream, so you have another listener there on live stream. That's what he's doing. Yeah, that would be a good idea. And Phil, have you ever seen Mystic River, the Sean Penn movie?
No.
Oh, it's absolutely excellent. Clint Eastwood directed it, and it's an excellent movie. Tim Robbins is in it, Kevin Bacon, Lawrence Fishburne. Excellent.
What movie was that, Frank?
It's called Mystic River.
Well, I've definitely heard of it, but yeah, I've missed watching that. I'm sure it's on Netflix. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it came out in 2003. I'm not sure if it would be on Netflix or not, because Netflix sometimes they don't have a lot of movies. I'm sure Amazon Prime would have it. But that was a really good one.
Did you see Professor and the Madman?
No, I want to write that down. I want to watch that.
Yeah, well, I'm a Mel Gibson fan. Not so much Sean Penn, but I have to give him credit, man. He did an amazing job, and it was a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I jotted it down.
Anyway, Perry.
So I had a VFO, a Penton VFO that gave me problems like that. And pay real close attention to how tight those screws are. You can find something as stupid as a loose screw in there to do that. Because everything is, bonded 100% to protect against capacitance changes. And, the criticalness of capacitance in a VFO. I had one that drove me nuts, and then one day I had to get in there, and there was a screw that I couldn't get a screwdriver on because something was in the way. And I went in, and I could wiggle it with my finger. That screw was loose. So I actually had to unsolder another component hanging out in order to get a screwdriver. I tightened the screw up slide the component back in, put the vehicle back together. Bingo.
What's up, Phil?
Yeah, what Charlie said, I'll second that. And yeah, every screw's got to be tight, and it doesn't even hurt to have like some friction washers or lock washers on there too. And if you got to take it apart, clean both surfaces, because that has to be 100% bonded. Charlie's absolutely right. I ran into that problem with a Ranger that had 2 screws missing. Who would think that made such a big deal? But it does. And yeah, Perry, you talk about saved searches. The problem with saved search is you don't get that for hours and hours after it first posts. So if you're looking for the thrill of the hunt, you just save that search to your desktop, and as soon as you click on it, you'll see all the new buy it now stuff. And sometimes you find some pretty good deals. A few weeks ago, but then it winds up costing you money too. You have to be very disciplined. A Kenwood TS590 SG, which is the latest version of the 590, was listed for, I believe, $699. That's an excellent price for that radio. And I couldn't, I looked at it 3 times. I'm like, do I need this? And I'm like, wow, the price is so good. But then I let it go, and within a few minutes it was gone. So there's other people out there too that watch the buy it now latest posts. So yeah, it can be a lot of fun, and it can be it could be super expensive too.
I'm gonna have to try this.
I bought 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up. Sometimes I grab the phone and look at a couple of things. This was about 2 years ago. 3 o'clock in the morning, I saw a Sonar FS2340 for like $275. Buy it now. And I bought it, and I played with it for a year, and I sold it for almost $700.
Yeah, I remember you told me that story. That's amazing to make that kind of money on that rig.
There was somebody who had one like a week ago, new in the box, new old stock. He had a picture of the box sealed before he cut it open to show you and the radio was gleaming brand new. I never checked back to see what it went for in the end, but it probably went for $800-900, I guarantee.
Another Sonar?
Yeah, 2340.
Hey, Pop, do you still have any your Sonars? Oh, he went. My dad said he did it one time. He was like, I remember back early eBay days, he was buying Sonars left and right.
Yeah, last time he and I talked about it, he still has them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and he's got a really cool Sonar Marine direction finding radio, sitting out in the barn. It's been sitting on the top of this cabinet for 20 years.
I was actually in the Sonar factory on Wortman Avenue in East New York, Brooklyn. Let's see, how many years ago? About 46 years ago. I was a kid, and a friend of mine from 11 Meters, he was an FDNY dispatcher at Brooklyn, and he had a business on the side selling radios and pistols and scanner books and stuff like that. And I went with him one time. He had to go pick up a radio, and it was right at quitting time. And they had all the employees lined up, checking their bags and their pockets as they were leaving the building.
Really? How about that? So they were, people had sticky fingers.
Sonar.
Yeah, you still have yours, right?
Oh, yeah, I got all the radios, the CBs, and the amplifier that they made, and I heard you talking about the direction-finding marine radio.
Yeah.
You have a Sonar, Perry?
No, I don't. My dad has a whole bunch of them, but I don't have any.
Those are so cool. I love those. When I was in, what was it? When I was in, was it high school, my high school years, those started showing up at Marine, I was going to say Hamfest, Marine Fests, I guess. and people were putting both the old 2 to 3 megahertz AM transceivers. How about that? On the tables, and they were selling stuff which like originally went for like $1,000, and imagine that back in the 70s or the early 70s, late 60s. Hugely expensive AM 2 to 3 megahertz transceivers. And because the FCC said, yep, we're banning, I hate talking like this, banning AM for marine radios because they had switched to VHF. So those things were available for like next to nothing. And there were people selling those radio direction finders. And I've owned a couple of those. I think those are so much fun. So I guess, Frank, yeah, that's cool that you've got that. The rectangular box with the antenna, the loop antenna on the top. Well, it's got the loop antenna in the compass that you can turn, and then it's got the sense antenna, like a telescoping whip.
Yeah, the sense antenna was because a ferrite bar antenna is bidirectional. So utilizing a sense antenna, okay, could help you determine what the actual direction is.
Exactly. In the case of where the two signals sum, you get a peak in the meter reading, and where the two have a difference, they cancel out and you get a null. So there should, you know all this. You get them adjusted so you get a deep null. It's like that is so cool. I kind of wish I was like boating back in the days when those things were actually being used.
Well, to give Perry a little bit of background, what they would do is you would home in on an AM broadcast station when you were offshore. And at the Jersey Shore where we used to fish and hang down there below Atlantic City, the station that you would home into going out of Wildwood or Cape May was WCMC. 1230 on the dial, which is the station. Their transmitter was right across the street, on 19th Avenue in North Wildwood from where we had the boat slip. So when you were offshore, you would use your direction finding radio like that to home in on that station, and by the time you were getting closer to the shore, obviously you wouldn't need the radio direction finder because you could see the shore. But WCMC on 1230 down in that part of Jersey was the station that you'd home in on.
That's pretty cool, man. That tower was literally 300-400 feet from where we kept the boat. Well, maybe not that close, but it was right there at the end of the street. That's pretty neat, man. Yeah, here it is. I think yours is the DF6X. The Sonar DF6S. Or X-ray.
So, Frank, it had AM broadcast, and then I'm guessing did it have long wave, like 150 to 190 kilohertz?
No, just marine band and the AM broadcast band. That's all was on. The old marine band at around 2 megahertz.
Wow. So really, the only DFing you could have done is using broadcast stations.
Exactly, and that was good enough because you'd home in on that, and by the time you would, as you were getting closer and closer to the shore, okay, then you could see if it was at night, you could see lights for navigation, or daytime, obviously, you could see everything else. But, no, that's just homing in, but then you can take right angles. You know where I'm going at with the bar. Now, the Sonar had kind of a flat antenna that you would rotate. Now, boats would have actually a loop outside the bridge, and they would, have a handle that they would, or I guess some of them were motorized.
Yeah, it was a loop antenna that the support the mount went through into the bridge, and there was a handle there. I actually was working as a student. The school I was attending up in Massachusetts had one of those boats. It was called the Grand Turk, and I was fascinated by that. It had the direction finding equipment in it, and just as you described, the loop antenna on the the roof of the bridge, and you could, but it was able to tune in the long wave beacons, which actually were the preferred method because you didn't have as much skywave going on. And if you could find some really old nautical charts, you'd see that the AM broadcast stations were actually secondary to the long wave stations as far as nav aids. But yes, you would do that. You would take a bearing ideally on 2 long wave beacons and draw the lines on your maritime chart, and and then where the lines crossed, that's where you were.
Yep. Perry, I'm going to send you a link of that the location of that station.
Okay. W3 MMR.
And 1 BCG. Man, it's amazing what we talk about on this frequency.
N1XVW. Those 2 megahertz marine AM radios. I wish I had $5 for every one I passed up at the local flea market back in the early 70s. We had flea markets local, I used to go to every Sunday, and we're right on the coast. The flea market was the big flea market was no more than 15 minutes from Narragansett Bay. $5-10. That's all they would get for them. If they even could get that. I think a lot of them ended up going in dumpsters.
Big Timmy
Is that
has
a
one.
shame? And a whole bunch of them showed up at the nautical flea markets where I was, and this is when I was in my high school years, and I would go to them, and these guys had them there, and what started my thought on that is sonar was one of the real nice ones. This thing looked amazing. It was like more than like 1.5 feet deep and maybe 1 foot wide, and it was in perfect condition. It had AM, it had the marine band, it was like 100 watts on AM for transmitting, and it had a separate control head that would go up on the flying bridge, which it was really cool. It had a telephone handset up there, and it had a rotary dial like on a telephone, so if you were, you would have this thing mounted in the cockpit, but if you were up on the flying bridge and you wanted to change channels, you just put your finger, in the hole on the dial and then dial it as if it were a telephone, and a stepper motor back down in the transceiver in the, inside the cabin would go ka-tunk, 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 and switch the band. Not the band. It would switch the crystals to whichever frequency you had selected, and the guy had it for sale. I think it was for $50, because I remember it was mind-blowing amounts of money for me as a high school kid, and I didn't really have any source of revenue other than just odd jobs and stuff. And so I was looking at it, and I remember asking the guy how much he wanted for it. And again, he said something like $50. And by the way, that was a lot of money in 1980, 81. And I'm like, well, would you ever consider bringing the price down? And he goes, well, why do you want it? I said, well, I'm just into radio and electronics and stuff like that. And he recognized that it was a student, and he ended up selling it to me for $5 for 10%. I was so happy. The thing was hard to lift. It was enormous. It was like a boat anchor. So, yep, I ended up giving it to Chris JBL, and along with a bunch of other, 2 to 3 megahertz AM transceivers I had. But looking back on it, that stuff would make great mobile 160 and 80 meter rigs, because they were designed to work right in between the 160 and 80 meter bands. Cool, and operate off of 12 volts. Cool stuff, huh? N1 BCG.
Getting the dinner call. Catch you guys later. 73 N2LJL.
See you, George.
See you, Jorge.
Hey,
Take it easy, George. Have a good evening. W2PHL.
There you go.
You too. Catch you later. N2 Junior.
Hey, Clark, JBL, W2JBL's got one of those. He runs in a mobile.
Well, that might have been one I gave him. I gave him 3 of them. I gave him that sonar, the one with the remote unit. I gave him a, something Bimini? Who made that? As a matter of fact, I think he said he was running it. It used a single sweep tube, and it had the telephone handset. This is not the sonar. This is another one, the Bimini something or other. And I think that's the one he runs mobile.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was one of them. Either I don't remember or I never knew the make of it. Excuse me, I got a tortilla chip in my mouth, but it was definitely one of those marine radios. Very cool.
Yeah, Clark, I am pretty sure it is the one you gave him. I'm pretty sure I heard him say that he modified it. I think he was working on it for a while and then put it in the mobile.
Those are funny rigs because they would have like the newer ones would be all solid state except for the output tubes. But even the modulators, they had this heat sink on the back with these real old school power transistors and stuff, all like PNP things. And they sounded horrible. But hey, what the hell? I mean, they were for two-way communications. They didn't have to sound good. But I had them for decades, and I wasn't doing anything with them. And Chris seemed to be interested, so that's why I gave it to him. But those are fun rigs, and being able to get them like as a kid and mess around with them, that was wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Anyway, I'm gonna back out of here for a bit. I'm gonna go throw something in the stove. I'm still hungry, man. I had one little thing of Elio's, but I gotta make something else here. W3 MMR, getting ready for the bowl. Isn't it starting like now?
Yeah, I gotta get out of here too. See you guys later. W2S here.
Yeah, man, I'll be back here in a little bit. I'll be listening. Clark, Charlie, Phil, Pop, George, anybody else who may be on frequency, we'll be listening out. W3 MMR.
7-3 to everybody that just failed. Hey, Clark, didn't Raytheon make that Bimini?
Yeah, guys, take it easy.
What, Phil, you're leaving also?
No, I was just saying goodbye.
Well, all right. Yeah, it seemed like my ears popped. Well, a number of people busting out. And Charlie, yes, I think you're right. I think it was Raytheon.
Yeah, because I remember seeing some of those, like I say, those boat anchors, and there were several of them that I saw that were made by Raytheon. They were big back then.
Well, I mean, that was all the rage on how you communicated, ship to ship and ship to shore, 2 to 3 megahertz. And then the FCC authorized the 156 to 160 megahertz, whatever that area, VHF. And the rigs got a lot smaller. They got more reliable. Out on the water, you don't exactly need to be 2 to 3 megahertz. VHF line of sight was obviously quite good over the water. So yeah, they ended up finally saying no more 2 to 3 megahertz, and that's where you had the big exodus of everybody dumping those old radios. Can you imagine that? Spending like hundreds of dollars, which by today's standards is thousands of dollars on two-way equipment, and then having the FCC say, sorry, you're going to have to go buy something new. It would be like as if analog 2-meter rigs suddenly became illegal and you had to go on D-Star. Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, basically that's what they did. The HF bands weren't obsoleted. It wasn't all VHF, but you had to use sideband communications, which they have their own designation for sideband and lower sideband. They don't follow that. It's F1 and F2, I don't know. I had one, an ICOM marine radio, an ICM 700. Unfortunately, the lightning hit it. But you know, this sideband, and I got the thing home and discovered that
What is all this?
AM. Didn't talk
here.
about AM in the manual, but there was a switch, a switch for changing mode, and when I flipped it to this other position that, I couldn't figure out from the manual, it was transmitting AM.
It's sea spray coming over the windshield.
Man, I'm telling you, it's like when you got that quartering breeze and you're hitting those waves and you're going upwind, you get spray all over, and then you got to go get the fresh water and the rags and wipe the glass window off on the cockpit so you can see where the hell you're going.
Did I miss something?
Oh no, we're all sitting listening to you, Charlie. I swear, I have never heard more operators more clueless about how to operate AM ever than are congregating on 85 right now. It's okay. I got to remind myself. This is part... What the hell part is this? Part 97. That's right. This is part 97, not 73. People are not expected to know what they're doing. Gotcha. I just need to keep telling myself that. Where's my white noise generator? I think that would be the thing.
You know.
Yeah, I know. You know what? To be friendly to everybody, maybe I should make it the pink noise generator. Oh, stop it.
So we just need to start a letter writing campaign to eliminate the consonant S from amateur radio.
Hello. What's happening?
Good morning. You said a word with S in it. You are now banned.
I've been canceled.
Oh man, you just did it with C. I guess we have to ban C as well.
Only a soft C, not a hard C. Splatter in CW.
Oh, I guess they heard you complaining, Clark. Everybody, that was Clark complaining about the S's. This is W2PHL. We all get along here.
And why is he sending VA? Let me go bang my head. I'll be right back. N1 BCG.
Yes, and Waits the Dead. What hair band was that? Quiet Riot.
Hey, come on, feel the noise. I got to get dinner going. I'm 21 minutes late to getting that going, and I don't have a while to do it for me, so I'll be back.
Tick, 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 tick. Whoosh.
Now, why didn't they get the Bangles to do the halftime show?
Yes, they could hit, Manic Monday, and I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else either, but they weren't a one-hit wonder. I can remember them having 2 or 3 good songs going on at the same time.
Oh, who could forget Walk Like an Egyptian?
Oh, there you go. Yep, that was a number 1.
Oh, Eternal Flame. They're all coming back to me.
think it was kind of short-lived. They weren't together too many years, were they? Or are they still out on tour?
I just whipped out my keyboard here, and I'm going to check out the information. Excuse me while I whip this out. Manic Monday. Yes, the Bangles. We were saying Bengals. It's the Bangles, Charlie.
Well, it would have been fitting since the ball team, the Bengals, was one of the two in the bowl, right?
Yes, I would have been good for a chuckle, for sure. W2PHL. Yeah, it's pretty quiet here too, Charlie. So here's your info on the Bangles. They were formed in 1981. They are still around, but not with the original lineup. And their hit songs, Manic Monday, Walk Like an Egyptian, both in 1986, Hazy Shade of Winter, which was a remake, Mamas and a Papas maybe, I think, 1987. In Your Room, I don't recognize the title. That's 88. And, of course, Eternal Flame, which was a super big hit in 1989.
And the band's name still exists, but was not the original artist, right?
Let's see what they say. Oh no, they're mostly all there except for Michelle Steele. They're still pretty much the original lineup. I'm trying to see who the lead singer was here. I don't know. I think a couple of them sang. I think yeah. They had a couple of different in the band, different the drummer would sing sometimes, the guitar player would sing sometimes. I'm not sure which songs are which, but they didn't just have one lead vocalist.
What was this, Milli Vanilli?
Girl, you know it's true. No, the Bangles. Charlie and I, we started saying the Bengals, and then we realized it was the Bangles, and then we're working through all their hits. And then Charlie wanted to know if the lead singer was still in the band. And I was just finding out that they shared singing just kind of like the Beatles did on their records. So there's more than one singer.
I think y'all should try Walking Like an Egyptian.
My wife did. She tripped over a chair and broke her arm.
I like that song, and then the first time I ever heard the club mix, like the extended dance mix that went on for 7 minutes, oh man, that was a great song.
I like the line about all the cops in the donut shop say, way-oh, way-oh. I spent a lot of time in donut shops, but I will be honest, I've never said way-oh, way-oh.
You know, I could see that coming. There was no surprise there.
Billy, I heard you double with Clark.
Oh, I was just saying, you didn't say way-oh, but your cruiser did.
Dude, is that what that line was about? Oh, my God, you're blowing my mind. Damn, what Billy just did all these years.
Isn't it amazing what you can learn from the youth?
So, the police car goes way-oh, way-oh. Yeah, that's a lot closer to the truth, yeah.
See?
Phil's going to be lying awake tonight thinking about that.
Anyway, that's cool, man. I think I have to go watch the Super Bowl soon. I don't want to.
Well, just get it on, get the highlights tomorrow on YouTube.
I've been doing that with the Olympics. I have the DVR set to record everything, so I can pick and choose. But the problem is as soon as you go, like, pick up your phone or click on any kind of website, it's like, oh, so-and-so just won the gold. And you're like, oh, man.
I saw some of the Olympics on Friday. I was actually up in Block Island, and they had it on the big screen there, and they had curling, and I never knew that that's what curling was. You know where the one, like, they had the, what was it, the U.S. and Chinese going at it, of course. And so one girl, it was all female teams. It's like, curling is a female sport. I don't know. Anyway, so one girl would push this Roomba down along this, like, hardwood floor thing, and then the other two girls would take mops and vigorously mop the floor right in front of the Roomba to try to get it to go where it was going to go. And I'm watching, like, the U.S. team and then the Chinese and the U.S. and the Chinese, and I'm thinking, I don't get this sport at all, but the way these girls work those mops, I would hire them in a second to clean my house if I had hardwood floors.
No, I'm totally confused.
Well, that's why, women are predisposed to being excellent curlers because there's the genetically, predetermined abilities to clean. So, I mean, that's a fact.
Could you put Jen on for a second?
Yeah, it's actually ice, though, Clark, if you didn't know that. And I love watching that, and that's a sport where I'm like, where are the curling bars? Because how much fun would that be? Like there's bowling alleys. Why not have a curling alley? And you could just go there and you slide around on the ice and you use the broom and you aim the whatever they call that big Roomba thing. That seems like so much fun, and I don't even think you need that much skill. You just, like, pick it right up.
What about a curling iron?
Yes, and he went there, folks.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what?
Curling irons wouldn't be any good because, if somebody was a poor sport and they hit somebody with the curling iron, they might bruise them.
Yeah, but that's so great that there's an Olympic sport that pretty much anyone could participate in. Not like that half pipe snowboard. Yeah.
You know what I'm confused about here is there's another sport that I always thought was curling, evidently is something else. That thing where they use that kind of horseshoe-shaped trough, and they have to catch and throw the ball with that trough. What's that called?
That's called a ham fest that's gone out of control.
Yeah, no, that's highlight. I don't know if that's an Olympic sport.
Oh man, Bridgeport highlight. That's been gone for decades.
Yeah, that was a betting parlor, right? You go in there and you bet on those teams, right?
Oh man, like Izod shirts. It was the symbol of an era. Highlight.
Yeah, we had one here in Newport.
Clark, this is cool. See, this is what's fun about new hams and stuff, like bringing them in. Dude just asked me, I'm curious about bars on the air. I want to do that for my 21st birthday. Other question, what is compression and what do I use it for?
Oh man, bars on the air and compression. We all need to go out and find a bar and talk stuff. This sounds like a great conversation.
Yeah, it's fun explaining this stuff because, like, it challenges me to understand it well enough to explain it simply.
So, how are you getting these questions?
From Nick, one of the, some of the fallout from my Twitchy stream, he actually went out, got his tech, he just set up some antennas, he's got a Kenmore 820, and he's on 10-meter upper sideband, making contact. So you made his first international contact today, by the way. And now he's asking me about audio compression because he was monitoring the whole time before we were talking, and he's like, he actually said, "Wow, Clark sounds kind of muffled," like before all that stuff even started. So there you go.
Oh man, I wish I knew he was listening, and about the 10 meters, because I would ask him if he had contacted the guy in Puerto Rico on 28. What was it? 28 420. There you go, 28 420, folks. I don't mean to be blunt about it, but there was a station that was working U.S. contacts regularly on 28 420. On today. So today would have been a great day for Tex to get on and make some international contacts.
I think he did. I think he mentioned Spain.
Well, all right. More south, but yeah.
So the bars on the air thing. So the other day, I'm downtown with Jen, and we're at a place called the Junction. And the guy sitting next to me was on what he called his personal bar crawl. And he met up with 3 other people in this particular bar. And the way he runs it is he talks to the bar. He asks the bartender, where we're going to leave in a half an hour. Where should we go next? And then the bartender has to tell them, another bar to go to. And he collects people along the way. So he was already up to, he had 2 people walking in. He grabbed another one. So he left with 3. And I was thinking, imagine if he was part of the bars on the air, how much more he could multiply, the bar crawl numbers. By getting people to, you get more people to participate, not just people that you're meeting in that particular bar. It could be like a phenomenon.
Dude.
Wow, how to incorporate drinking and ham radio and make it exciting. Phil, this idea needs to be developed.
So the whole idea of a bar crawl is that you go bar to bar till you're on your hands and knees, or what?
No, Charlie, no. They call it a crawl, W2PHL. The most famous one is the Christmas Santa bar crawl, where I mean, after your third or fourth bar, you might feel like you're crawling to the next one, but that's all it's about. It's from bouncing from one place to another and like gaining in numbers as you go. At least that would be the fun part of it. So the ham radio would make it that much easier to coordinate.
I can just imagine the unruly crowd, 50 people showing up at a bar all at one time, and the boss tend to say, "Bar's closing in 5 minutes." Oh boy.
Yeah, the Santa Crawl is what they call the one at Christmas, and everybody, dresses the part, and that can get super unruly.
What? How many people dresses? Ernie the Elf? Who was it? Oh, Freddie the Elf. That's it.
Yeah, I take offense to that.
I was trying to think. What was the elf that was studying to be a dentist, and he ended up taking that tooth out of Bumble. Bumble's bounce. In case you guys didn't remember.
Bumbles can't swim.
Oh, it's Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, Clark. Puerto Rico.
That's right. 28-420. Puerto Rico. That's funny. Maybe I heard Nick on there because I had that guy on for a while, and he was working a lot of stations.
Wiki Papa 4, Wiki Papa 4.
Oh, Herbie.
It was.
Not
I guess
Ernie,
he works
Herbie.
KP4WQ. Is that the guy?
Thank you to the support staff. My producers just let me know in my earpiece here that the elf that was studying to be a dentist, his name was Herbie. All right, so that was from the Rudolph, remember, with Burl Ives, the snowman singing. What? Come on, you guys. What childhood memories do you have that I don't?
You ever see the one where it's like an unsavory version, like still same claymation and stuff, but like there's lots of adult topics going on?
Oh my God, I would be traumatized if I saw that. I have such precious childhood memories, so to see something like that, Billy, it would be horrid.
Oh God, you should. It's hilarious. Like Rudolph, he's the red-nosed reindeer, right? And you find out why his nose is so red because he's been getting into a bunch of blow, and he's got like hookers there and stuff. Oh my God.
That sounds like the version that my nephews would have been watching. They were a rambunctious crowd.
Phil, you've seen that, right?
I got the VHS and the Betamax.
Like the adult version?
Are you sure this is real, or maybe you just dreamt it?
I swear it's real. Oh my gosh. You could probably YouTube it. Like, it's nothing that's not too illicit for YouTube, but man, yeah, there's all kinds of issues. And then I forget. I guess Frosty is like I think Frosty is like the pimp. And he comes in and, he ends up like kicking Rudolph's ass at some point and like, oh man, it's a whole thing. It's hilarious.
Wait a minute. The snowman Burl Ives, he's the narrator. Oh man, I'm now getting defensive of my childhood memories here. No, and then at the end he sings, "Have a holly golly Christmas." I know this all sounds really lame, but I'm very protective of my childhood memories.
Right, and the other one is Fred Astaire and his little tractor snow machine. But the one I disliked was the animated Frosty the Snowman, because Frosty has this Long Island accent, and it just rubs me the wrong way.
Hello to Ernie, if that's Ernie out there.
It's Herbie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Herbie. Or you do the Jamaican pronunciation, Herbie.
Yeah, it's my Jamaican Canadian. Oh God, your impression yesterday was awful.
Oh, thank you.
I got a good movie story for you.
Hold on, before we drift too far from the topic, it was a Robot Chicken skit, the show Robot Chicken, Who Killed Santa Claus, if you want to YouTube it.
I'll check it out.
You know, the special Year Without a Santa Claus is the one with Freeze Miser and Heat Miser. Now, that was pretty cool, too. I like the music.
Yeah, absolutely epic.
He's Mr. Heat Miser. He's Mr. 101. Man, love that stuff.
Right. Friends call him Heat Miser because whatever he touches melts in his clutch. It's too much.
Exactly.
Yeah. W2PHL, and Santa Claus is coming to town with the Winter Warlock. And I love the line at the end where he's flying in Santa's sleigh and he says, "I'm not such a loser after all."
That's because he upgraded to general and didn't dwell on being a tech for the rest of his life. Oh, wow, that was uncalled for.
Just consternation, constant consternation from the BCG broadcasting headquarters.
Oh, I've already got the, see that? The texts of shame are starting to flood in now. Hey, by the way, it was not Heat and Cold Miser. It was Heat Miser and Freeze Miser. You guys got to get the names right.
Just watch that, the link I sent you.
I wasn't referring to you. It's Robot Chicken, Who Killed Santa Claus. Oh, fabulous. I'm glad it's not like December where Christmas is coming up, you know, a coveted holiday. We're kind of like past it so I can watch this stuff and not have nightmares.
Yeah, I have to correct the record. It's Snow Miser and Heat Miser.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I'm Mr. Snow Miser. Well, all right. Now I got to go to YouTube and find the song to be sure.
Watch the Robot Chicken skit first. It's only 2.5 minutes.
Uh-oh. The Snow Miser song. Damn it, Phil might be right here. I hate that.
What's the title for YouTube?
Oh, it doesn't matter. If you just go to Google and you type in Snow Miser, there's like 1 million videos and references, so that's sort of obvious to me that you're not wrong.
No, I'm talking about for Billy's version.
Oh, you can find it on YouTube. Just search Robot Chicken, Who Killed Santa Claus.
Oh, wait. If you type into Google search for Freeze Miser, just the same number of them come up. That's pretty interesting.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, I think I found it.
How about Mr. Hanky from South Park?
Oh, classic. My wife leaves the room when Mr. Hanky comes on. That's disgusting. Hi-ho.
That's right. That's like those septic company trucks that paint their, the ones that come around to pump out your septic system and maintain it and stuff. And they paint them bright yellow and write stool bus on the side.
Oh, yeah, I remember. That's a good idea. How's that project going?
What project?
You were going to do that.
Remind me again, what was I going to do?
Have like all the septic guys paint their trucks yellow and write stool bus. And then have, like little painted windows of little Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Pooh, and all the little Pooh-lings, you know, riding to the stool bus.
I think someone's already done that.
We had a picture like
good.
that hanging on the wall at work.
Just Google it.
Yeah, Billy, if you do a Google search for stool bus, you'll see hundreds of examples of people doing it just like that.
The septic companies in Rhode Island, a lot of them have original slogans on the back of the tank, like we're number one in the number two business, your shit is our bread and butter.
Excuse me, they use the S word?
I don't remember. Well, it implied it. I don't remember if they actually used it, but they implied it.
Your poop is our bread and butter.
Yeah, that could be what it was.
Yeah, I could see there being quite an uproar if the S word was printed on a truck driving down the road. Imagine all those soccer moms in their, their Land Rovers and stuff. Yeah, that wouldn't go over well. Hey, but I have on letterhead from Interstate Septic Company right here in town. I have it documented on their letterhead that my stuff doesn't stink. And I've already told that story 1,000,000 times on the air, so you're just going to have to remember it. N1 BCG.
I had a small truck repair business when I first got married. I worked on trucks and trailers and stuff. And on my billing head and on my letterhead, under the company name, it said, the difficult we do immediately. The impossible just takes a little longer.
Very catchy and profound.
Coming from the tough guy, Emeril Lagasse.
Oh, speaking of the comments about my audio yesterday, that Emeril, the chef, I saw him yesterday. Shortly after that comment was made, I was upstairs, and it was a commercial for his grill that he developed and sells. And he narrated the commercial, and I got to hear his voice. And I can't disagree. He does have a very similar voice to mine.
So there you go. So you're the raspier tough guy amateur radio version of Emeril Lagasse. There you go. All right, well, I'm glad you agree with me, because sometimes when I see stuff like that, people get insulted, like, I don't sound like that guy, I don't look like that guy. But I'm glad you saw a similarity there, Charlie. KD2BRM for clarity.
Wait, what? Charlie is the ham radio version of Bela Lugosi?
Is that the guy that says "bam" all the time?
Well, he does when he puts his spices in the mix, but yeah, Emeril Lagasse. Emeril Live. Doc Gibbs and the Emeril Live Band back in like 1992. You know, the jazz band.
Well, Bela Lugosi was not the guy who said, "Good evening."
No, that was Lon Chaney.
No, that was, who was that? Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But I bet Lon Chaney said it too.
I thought I was just imitating Bill LLY. Good evening. But no, it was Alfred Hitchcock.
I guess you guys don't want to hear my funny story about a movie.
You know, Charlie, after the naked woman tugging on your coax story, I don't think you're going to be able to top it.
Well, this goes back to when I was dating my wife before we were married. And we were out cruising around one summer evening, and we both got the idea, let's go to a movie. So there was a drive-in not too many miles from where we were at the time, so we went to this drive-in. And it's like, yeah, you're going to the drive-in with a girl. The title of the movie really isn't that critical. And, you know, how bad could a movie be? How much through the looking glass?
What is that, an X-rated feature?
Yeah, it was an X-rated version of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure, Charlie. You're probably like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know.
I honestly had no clue.
This space for rent.
Give you $5 an hour for it.
No way. I'll take 3.
Well, I'm starting to get sideband over here.
Wow, if it isn't one thing, it's another on this frequency, huh?
Well, there's always sideband. It just sometimes is the lower side of 3885, but there's always sideband interference here. Just depends where its center frequency is, I guess. I don't know. I'm just making crap up as I go.
Where's that guy to chew us out again? That was pretty good.
What's going on? Sailor and Clark and Ernie and Sean. You get that?
Wow, meow on demand.
Yeah, he always talks back. When you talk to him, he always talks back.
It's like having a kid.
Exactly.
Were they calling us felines, or the version that starts with a P and ends with a USSY? I'm not sure what that comment was there.
I don't know, Ernie. I think you need to start having some Poland Spring with dinner.
What? I had chicken wings, asparagus, and we had some leftover fried zucchini steaks, which heated up very nicely in the air fryer. Why would you comment on a beverage? What do you think I had? I had seltzer.
Oh, wow, asparagus. Well, if you've got the right enzymes, your pee's going to start to smell bad.
If the wind's blowing from the south, open up your window. I'll pee in the backyard soon. Yes. Yes, isn't that strange with that vegetable?
I ate that the next morning.
Why
isn't that
just
wacky?
That vegetable? I mean, I smell, you smell other things, but why is that one particular vegetable so predominant in the stream?
Pungent is the word you were looking for.
It's only if you have the right enzymes.
I got them.
Well, apparently most people do, because I really have never run into anybody that's eaten asparagus and then not joked about it later.
Hey, there's a topic for Steve's, was it Lonely Guys Net or the Gray Hair Net or whatever? He's always looking for topics. Can you imagine that? QIX saying, so, do you have the enzyme that makes your pee stink when you have an asparagus or not?
If that is the topic, I will be part of that net, and I hate nets.
I'll have to suggest that next time he gets on. Hey, Steve, here's one for next weekend. Does asparagus make your pee stink? Yes or no?
Well, I will not be available for the knit next Saturday, but maybe the following one.
You know, I don't do a lot of nets, but I think that's what makes me try and make that net. That's late for me. 8 o'clock in the morning, my day has started. You know, I'll check into the old military net sometimes at 5 a.m. And occasionally I can stay awake long enough for the gray-haired nap. But I miss a lot of Steve's nets, and it's only because it's late. It's late for me. And that's what I like about that net, is the topic, the fact that he usually has a topic, and it's usually something that's of interest to most people on the net.
Hey, did you hear this past weekend's topic was one that I picked? I'm so proud. I've had like 5 people get on frequency and tell me that they like the topic.
I missed this weekend. What was the topic?
What were you allowed to do as a kid? Like, what did your parents allow you to do when you were a kid that there's no way in hell you would let your kids do if you had kids, or even if you didn't? But like, what were you okay to do, and your parents knew about it, that would just not fly with you as a parent?
Most everything I did, I think.
And your parents were fine with everything, all that stuff?
What they didn't know didn't hurt them.
No. No, the question is, what did your parents allow you to do? Because we all did stuff our parents didn't know. That's not it. What did your parents okay? What were they fine with that now today you as a parent would no way also allow for your own kids?
Still mostly everything I did. You know, because I'd take off on my bike for hours at a time. Can't do that today. You know, letting them get too far from home today, they may not make their way back. Somebody might scoop them up, take them off to child slavery or something. Nah, it's, you know, still comes to the same thing. A lot of the stuff that we did. Playing cowboys and Indians in the woods. Oh my God. I wouldn't even think about sending my kids off to the woods.
For me, what did my parents make me do that I would never make my kids do? And one of those things would be like when I was not even 4, I was probably just mastering walking. On Sunday mornings, they would put some money and a note in my pocket, and I would walk down the block by myself. Once again, barely able to walk into the bakery, like reach up on my tippy toes to hand the lady the note with the money, and then walk back home with Sunday breakfast.
Oh man, so you were like cheap. You were a cheap butler.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. My dad got his color TV, his Magnavox color TV. He didn't get the remote option because he had me. So wherever I was in the house, it was like Philip, and then I'd have to like be put on channel 2, and I'd have to come upstairs and put on channel 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your parents sent you to the TV shop to go get the big Magnavox color television, and at 4 years old you had to drag it through the snow and the ice back to your house. Man.
By today's standards, that would almost be considered child abuse.
Oh, but I gave it back to them in spades, man. That color TV, I was digging around in the back and I saw that there were like 40 different controls in the back of the TV for the color, one for the level, one for, there was at least 20 just for setting up the alignment for the color. I twisted all those knobs. Oh man, he came home from work. He turned on Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite was like purple. Oh my God. I think it was like 2 weeks I was punished after that one.
Well, that's a different topic, Clark, because I think you were asking
what we got away with that our parents wouldn't. What our parents let us do that we wouldn't let our children do. I'm not sure this is going down that road.
That's exactly what my suggestion was. Do I have to repeat? What What were you allowed to? What did your parents allow you to do as a kid that there's no way in hell you'd allow your own kids to do today? That was my topic.
Oh my God! You people are like freaking.
Be pressured into going to
I
college.
withdraw my story. Huh.
Oh, it's all right. Well, we have some fine parting gifts for W2PHL. We've got a 55-gallon drum of Butthurt cream, of 3873 brand Butthurt cream. What started that?
I don't know, man. I was just telling a story. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Big Clark.
I like your story, Phil. It was more interesting anyway. The constraint of what would your parents let you do. I like hearing about what people did and then, whatever. But, Clark, to your answer, that would be let my kids be pressured into going to college.
That's pretty legit. Yeah, and by the way, Phil, I was answering Ernie. That was not a dismissal of your story. I think having your dad put on the evening news and seeing Walter Cronkite look like he just landed in a UFO from the planet Zokbif, I think that would have been fantastic. I was merely clearing the air. No need to get the hackles up.
No, I know. But Ernie did the topic police on me there. So I know he's just breaking my balls, so I had to play along. Yeah, and then my grandfather got the service manual, and they had a mirror, and they spent like a week because he wasn't going to call the Magnavox service guy to come and realign it. So they figured out how to align it on their own. I was in so much trouble for that.
Here's one for you, Phil. When I was, old enough to be dexterous enough to handle a screwdriver, I just decided to dismantle the family VCR. And, yeah, they weren't happy.
1990s.
Just had all the parts there on the floor.
That's freaking awesome. I hope your parents didn't lose it too badly.
No, I don't think they did, but, and I think they actually, got me stuff to, take apart after that, but they were like, jeez, VCRs were, this was the late 80s, late 80s, maybe very, very early 90s, VCR was
Man, that's like cat owners getting one of those scratch things with the carpet on it, the wooden structure with the carpet on it, to distract their cats from tearing up the couch. Wow. So Billy, you were sort of like the pet cat to them, and they got you a decoy, so you'd go scratch up your Billy toy and not the VCR.
You know what Tinker Toys were used for?
Same thing as a busy box,
Tinkering?
Charlie. Keep those little fingers off of the expensive stuff.
You could use the dog analogy, the dog that won't stop humping the couch, so they get him a humping toy.
There was a double there, but have I got it?
What?
Got it, I guess. Our version of using the Tinker Toys, the long dowels were used with our homemade bows to shoot at each other as arrows. The short ones would drop down the barrel of our homebrew pistols, which were fired out with firecrackers. And that's how we played Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, this is also why in the Charlie Youth era there was a such thing as reform school.
Tinker Toys were made of wood. What about the metal erector sets? I think those things were designed to keep the Band-Aid Corporation in business.
Well, my parents used to allow me to beat up and bully other children in school, whether they looked funny or weren't smart. And I would allow my children to do that today. It's just society doesn't allow it. So does that answer your question, Clark?
It's kind of primeval, but yes.
So by default, I cannot allow my kids to do what I did because they would probably be expelled. But it was fun when I did it. And I try to do it on 3873 when I can. Hi, Phil. Just kidding.
Right. So Ernie's family operates under Cro-Magnon rules of society, 30,000 BC. That's fine.
Well, Ernie grew up in the city like me, and that was the norm, Clark. You got into fights pretty much almost every day, at least I did. In elementary school, people, constantly. You'd be sitting at your desk, minding your own business, and then there's a note. It's like, Jimmy Riley wants to fight you. Be around the corner at 3:15. So then you had to go around the corner and you had to fight Jimmy Riley. That was just like everyday stuff.
Exactly, Phil. It was like you either had to be the sharpest tool in class that insulted and made fun of everybody and was the funniest, or it was done against you, and then you had to be quick. You had to have that quick comeback. That's why even today, whether it's on the radio or at work, somebody comes at me with like a semi-sarcastic comment, and then I steamroll them because I take it back to like 1985, growing up in College Point, and it's like eat or be eaten. So maybe I have to soften that up here on the HF fans, because some people's butts do need the Clark 3873 cream, because they like to dish things out, but then get all whiny and well, I can't say the two other words I was going to follow that with. One starts with a C, the other starts with a B. But anyway, yeah, so you're right, Phil. That was it, man. It was eat or be eaten.
Clark, are you marketing that cream now?
Oh, the 3873 buttercream. It's actually very funny, Ernie, that you mentioned that, because when I was very young, I was relatively quiet. And I learned very quickly that won't work. And that's when the edge was first developed, and it just went from there.
Yeah, I mean, one of my earliest memories of, probably dates back to like first grade, second grade, was, Ernie, where's Bert? And here you are in like first grade, and, somebody says that in the class. And then, I stand up and say, well, he's home banging your mother, and it didn't go well for the teacher, and my parents got a phone call. But I was king for a couple of days after a comment like that at like 6 or 7. So, yeah, you got to go for the jugular every time.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Exactly. But anyway, I don't want to bore you with my bully stories as a child. But that's what I can't let my kids do today, is bully. But they are sharp. They do have my sense of humor, my wit, my sarcasm. Sometimes it backfires, but I'm proud of them.
Listen, not to be a topic arsonist, but I gotta know. Phil, what are you having for dinner?
Dude, I had the biggest friggin' lunch, and I don't know. If anything, it's just going to be some, horsey doovers from the freezer.
Where's the Wars? I understand. That's good. I did that yesterday. Huge lunch.
His next question, so you know, Phil, is what are you wearing? Just so you know.
It's my own 3873 line of evening wear.
Oh, I wasn't going to ask that, but since we're doing it, I'm wearing my cool Goji Crypto sweatshirt.
Well, I'm sporting my famous No Fear Wife Beater t-shirt and Casper the Friendly Ghost boxer shorts.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. I am a happy ham.
There go all the TMI lights.
Well, it's about time. I'm done with having a dustpan and a brush sitting around here because of all the things you people say.
Yeah, you need to go with like a current limited diode or something, man. but I guess that's just... never mind. How hot do you have it in your place that you can hang out in a wife beater and boxers? Dude, I do not, keep the heat on that high, you know? Like, in the winter, it's usually a sweatshirt. I don't got it like that. But then again, I don't have a Range Rover that I drive up the hill to my tuning box under my antenna either.
Billy remembered that story I told her.
See, kids are like sponges. They remember everything. Wait, what?
Dude, what?
I painted a picture in Billy's mind. That's so great.
Yeah, I just picture Clark, Greenwich, ooh, so classy, oh, I guess I'll fuel up the Range Rover. I've got to go switch to 160 meters later.
Yeah,
James, warm up the Range Rover, please. I have to go up
Cherokee.
the hill.
Now you'd be closer to the truth.
Does he put on the initialed robe with the pipe too, Bill, with the little slippers?
I can answer that.
Absolutely,
it doesn't have my initials on it, but it has my call sign monogrammed on it, stitched right on the left breast.
You don't want to know how warm it is in my shack.
He was the inspiration for Mr. Howell on Gilligan's Island.
Lovey, please pass me my pipe.
2 receivers at a tube, and the amplifier running since, I don't know, when did I turn everything on? 1 o'clock this morning. The temperature in this room is 81.5 degrees.
Damn. Yeah, I usually see about that in the other room where all the tubes and stuff are, but I don't hang out in there when I operate.
Man, that's project heat.
Hey, Bill, maybe you just got to cut a hole in that wall with a nice, in the wall or, in the ductwork kind of fan there and disperse some of that good tube heat into the operating station.
Nah, I just put on a sweatshirt. I went to great lengths to get myself out of that room.
I just meant maybe you could multitask and use some of that transmitted heat to warm your butt cheeks now in the operating station. But no, I hear you. I know you got that separate transmit room there. I've seen some of your videos.
I got a pretty cool setup to circulate that stuff. The door that you can see from the video, I shut. But there's another door to that room right next to that door. But there's like a separating wall, and it's kind of on the other side of the kitchen way over there. So I let the heat escape out through there and kind of come in through the kitchen, and it eventually makes its way over to me over here.
You could probably get one of those rotisserie things and put a chicken on there while you're operating.
YC-156, I mean, it blows some heat out of there. I have to move a tremendous amount of air across that tube to do old buzzers and stuff.
Isn't that how they built the air fryers?
Yeah, Billy be like, excuse me, I need to key up for another 10 minutes so I can get my dinner going here.
Yeah, no, I should start using that thing again, man. I just figured, I didn't want to be... How was it stated to me? Appalling. I don't want my signal to be appalling. W2BTK.
Well, you don't want your electric bill to be appalling.
Oh, man. Is that worse than dreadful? I don't know. But that must have left a mark.
I was told that my signal is appalling, way too much signal. So I stopped doing that.
Well, I guess there's a time and a place for everything, so I don't know. I've never had an issue with it.
How many tubes are in the Ranger anyway?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it fading in and out. But I've been hanging out running about 200 watts carrier for a while now, and nobody has ever not heard me.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the average transmission rate here, but yeah, that's kind of where I float around. I'm a little bit under that right now, but yeah, that's, that should be a good number. If you get, you have a good antenna system, a good efficient antenna. And I know multiple stations out here do, and multiple stations do run that power. And we're all talking right now, so that's sufficient. But hey, man, if there's times you gotta put the pedal to the metal, then that's cool too.
No, apparently it's not.
Oh, okay, I'm not going to ask you to elaborate, because I don't want to open up any pre-existing injuries out there, possibly, but okay. Well, I'm just giving you my 2 cents for whatever it's worth. Maybe in crypto it's worth peanuts, but I don't know. But that's how I look at it. It don't matter to me. It's all good.
Well, I will say this. Your remarks were well articulated and very rational, and I can respect that.
Well, thank you very much. W2BTK, KD2BRM.
And I think it's time to go upstairs and have my popcorn. N1XFW.
All right, Charles. Put a little extra butter on there for me. I'm going to bail out to see what the snack situation is like. So you guys have a good evening. W2PHL.
I'll see you later, Phil. Good chatting with you.
Have the finest business evening ever.
Yeah, man. You guys are great. Catch you all later.
Wow, it's like saying 7-3 to Bob E&Y. Yeah, man. Catch you cool cats later.
Good night there, Phil. Always a pleasure. W2PHL, KD2BRM. I'm going to run upstairs and get myself a quick glass of Di Serono Amaretto on the rocks.
Oh man, everyone's bailing. Clark's gonna have to tell a story because I'm feeling peckish and I'm gonna go prepare some food.
Wow, so everyone's signing except for me. Maybe we should just let Saigon fall and the Sidebanders can take 3873.
No, I'm coming back.
Man, I'm hungry.
Away for an amaretto.
Tell me a story. I gotta make some food.
I gotta step away from the shack here though to get it. Don't go nowhere. I'll be right back.
All right, I'll hang out until he gets back.
No, that's fine. I gotta look to see what what kind of stories I have here. I actually do have a list of 21 stories, 21 N1BCG stories that I can tell. Can you imagine that? That's a lot of story time.
Well, let's see. We've heard the hot tub bubble story. We've heard the lightning bolt story. We've heard the fog machine story, which that's a really good one. What else? I don't know. These are the 3 that come to mind. Oh my!
Oh, look at this. Someone said back around 10 Zulu, so I guess that's around 5 p.m. Said, "Oy vey, Mr. Clark, you were such." You did spell it right, whoever that is. Whoever is 185, 220, 101, 55. All right, so from the top. Oy vey, Mr. Clark, you were such a mensch. Now you sound like a schwanz. Schwanz. Schwanz? Never heard of that term, schwanz. Is that like schmutz? I gotta work on my Yiddish. Anyway. Time check. Who said time check? Oh, this is terrible. I gotta start keeping an eye on the message board here. I feel so irresponsible.
Schwanz. Schwanz means penis.
No, it's SCHVANTZ, schwanz.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm saying the German version, Schwanz, but Schwanz, it means dick.
Really? So he said you were such a mensch, which is a good term. Now you sound like a dick. All right. This is why I should be reading these things more often. That was at 21:59 Zulu. So 10, that's 5. Oh my God, that was almost 2.5 hours ago. Oh well.
That was right before I went out for chicken wings, Clark. And I settled on the college fridge and got the college beer because I didn't want you guys to run away there. Yeah. All right. So now you're a dick, I guess. Well, join the club.
So that was you? That was you writing that?
No, I'm saying, but I've been called worse, so welcome to the club, I guess. No, I'm saying that happened like right around the time that I stepped away to go set up the deep fryer outside for the chicken wings. And if I look at my phone without disclosing any type of information, oh no, actually I was still on the air. Yeah, I don't know who that was. No, that wasn't me. I would call you that to your face if I felt that, but that would never be the case. So don't ever think that from me.
Wow, Billy is exactly right. I didn't know you were Jewish, Billy, but yeah, schwanz, plural schwanzes, chiefly U.S. slang, a penis. Quotations. Synonyms: dick, prick. See also thesaurus, penis. Chiefly U.S. slang, derogatory, a useless person. Synonyms: loser and schmuck. Wow. I really, in order to get the full feeling of amateur radio, I really should be watching this message board more often. All right, wait a minute. One more here. Schwanz, Yiddish for penis. He's got the schwanz of a bull. That's not a derogatory statement. I'm walking bow-legged today. Hey, by the way, that was from... Oh, this is weird. That was from David Glazier. Huh. Weird. 89 people gave it a thumbs up. 11 gave it a thumbs down. Get a schwanz mug for your cousin. What else? Also used to make hilarious parodies of songs. See example below. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how a schwanz. That's it? How I schwanz? Well, anyway... Oh, wait a minute. Schwanz, Yiddish for tail. That dog is chasing his schwanz. Does that mean I'm an ass or I'm a dog tail? This is confusing, this Urban Dictionary stuff. And when BCG called a schwanz by 185, 220, 101.55. Thank you very much. 5.5 hours later.
Actually, Clark, I'm not Jewish, and it's a funny story of why I know that. We were at camp, right? We were, younger, I don't know, teenage, early teens or whatever, real goofballs. And there was an Austrian kid that came to camp with us that year, and his name was Evie, but he spelled it I-W-I. Anyway, we befriended this kid, and we were like, yo, you gotta teach us how to say, rotten stuff in German, man. Like, that's so cool. We ended up coming up with this entire dictionary, and we just asked him all the most random crap, like, how do you say cock? Like, how do you say slap my infected monkey? How do you say let me touch your tits? Like, you know, everything. And, dude, I still remember it all, man. Schwanz, schlag meinen Fittjernafen, gib mir deine Busen, du bist meine Scheißkuchen, you are my, you know, Scheißcake. Oh my God, there's so many of them. But yeah, that's why I know that.
I don't know where this came from. You know, it's like I thought I was thinking of something new, but it wasn't new. It was something which I had heard, you know, many years ago that I had completely forgotten where, why, what, who, when, where, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, it was like last week. I don't know why, but just like this character came to mind, Dr. Schmutz, and I thought that's a funny name, Dr. Schmutz. Well, maybe if I were a medical doctor, Dr. Schmutz. And I really didn't know what it meant. I thought, did I just make up a Yiddish term? Really, Schmutz? That's got to exist. It sounds so legit. And Billy, literally, like a day, maybe 2 days went by, and I'm just kind of like, you know, amusing myself with the name Dr. Schmutz. What a great name, Dr. Schmutz. Maybe I should be that on CB radio. Skip land, skip land, skip land. You got Dr. Schmutz here. Like, I like that. I really do. And then I looked it up. And it's like, oh, it is a Yiddish term. Oh, wow. It means like dirt or disgusting or something like that. I forget. It's like, oh, wow. So it does exist. Oh, well. I thought I came up with something new. Guess not.
Yeah, growing up in Whitestone, I would have told you that was already used, but...
Clark, speaking of Urban Dictionary, I have one entry into the Urban Dictionary I'm very proud of. It's a term my friend came up with. I added it for him. It's Manhattan Special. If you look that up in the Urban Dictionary, the Manhattan Special, that's it's a good one.
Now I'm thinking back to my 20s and 30s. I'd go into New York City with some of my buds, and we go to like the Rainbow Room. Don't get crazy. It was at Ernie knows it was the top of the RCA building. That was great until they redid it and ruined it. But before they redid it, it was great. It was so Art Deco. It was so cool. Anyway, where were my haunts? The Rainbow Room, top of the sixes. Top of the sixes. That was big. And then there was another place, and then the after party after Rainbow Room or Top of the Sixes was usually at Elaine's. Bernie, I don't know how much you're familiar with New York City, but Elaine's we would go to a lot afterwards, and that was always fun. But you know, Billy, I would imagine that I would have ordered what did you say, a Manhattan? That sounds like a drink. And this is why I brought this story up. A minute, or maybe that's. I'm sorry, maybe that's not what you said. But that just sounded like a drink that is legit.
It is. There's a soda called Manhattan Special, but I don't think that's what Billy might have been referring to.
Well, that's right, Manhattan Special. Okay.
N2LJO is back. And Clark, I'm reminded of that conversation we had about the Top of the Sixes. That was my place.
Yeah, I think at one point I stopped going there because they said it was closed, and I don't know whether it was closed for good, which would be terrible, or was closed for renovation. I know that the Rainbow Room was closed for renovations, and then they ruined it. George, I don't know if you remember the old, like, when the hell did they do that? Somewhere in the 90s. Before then, before, let's say, 95, the Rainbow Room at the top of the RCA building. Yeah, the RCA building. That's how far I go back. The way they had it was if you were sitting at the bar, if you were a patron sitting at the bar, you would be facing south, I believe, towards the Empire State Building and the Battery. And it was great. So the bartender, his back was to the windows, and then he had all the bottles and stuff, but they didn't block the view. So if you sat at the bar, you had the most amazing view ever from the bar at the Rainbow Room, which is, to me, that was like the big attraction. You have some, like, overpriced drinks and have this amazing view. Well, then they closed it, remodeled it, and when they reopened it, I went once and vowed never to set foot in there again. They reversed it. They made it so that they put the bar to the inside of the building, against the inside wall, so that I kind of get it, but like people who were at tables would now be sitting along the windows. Like, in other words, so the bar would not take up window space for people who were dining. I still think that was a mistake, because the bar wasn't even that big. And by the way, from a pleasing number of people, there were more people sitting at that bar, because you were elbow to elbow at the bar, being able to have that view, as opposed to if you actually put tables there, you wouldn't have the same number of people in that amount of space being able to enjoy the view. So personally, I think they ruined it, and I've never really forgiven them for that. So there you go, a little insight into my bar hopping days of the 80s and 90s. And one BCG.
Well, the top of the Sixes became a cigar lounge, a private cigar club.
You know what? When you said top of the Sixes became a cigar lounge, I was like, that's awesome. And then you said a private cigar lounge. And that's when the thumbs up became thumbs down. Wow.
Yeah, it's a private club.
All right. Well, not happy with that.
Nope, there was a good view there to the north. You could see Yankee Stadium, the lights at night. I don't know what they've built in the last 30 years to the north of that building now that would block that view anyway, but, I'm going back 87, 88, 89, 90, when I used to go there.
Oh, wait a minute. Was top of the Sixes south of Central Park?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I grew up and live in Connecticut, so these things aren't as obvious to me as to some of you guys. So, y'all, then there you go. Then Billionaires Row, what is that? Along the south edge of Central Park? Yeah, that would have screwed up the view big time.
Prospect Park Southwest. Yeah, no, it was 666 Fifth Avenue. I think it was 52nd Street, between 51st and 52nd, and I think it was a Barnes & Noble on the first floor, the ground floor there, as far as the retail space. But then you went into the lobby of the building, and they had that little button, top of the Sixes.
Yeah, well, my fingerprints are all over that button.
Yeah, me too, except it says, don't come here unless you remember.
Well, screw that. Although I was in favor of the club car on Metro North, although I never, obviously I was too young when they had that. That was back in the 70s and maybe the 80s, I'm not sure. And not that I could afford it today, but I am totally 150, 180% in favor of a club car on Metro North. But our stupid, uptight, panties in a wad governor, Ella Grasso or whatever, put a stop to the club car on Metro North. What a biatch.
Well, they used to have the bar car and the smoking car. Oh, God. Now, going back 20 years ago and beyond, I used to smoke a pack and a half a day of cigarettes. And I took a ride one time up to see my friend up in Poughkeepsie. Well, I went to Poughkeepsie. He lives in Stanfordville, a childhood friend of mine from the first grade. Can you imagine? And I thought it would be a great idea to go in a smoking car. Oh, my God. I wanted to throw up. I thought I was going to have to burn my suit. It just, it was disgusting.
Oh, man. So when I was really young, actually throughout my entire life, I would go to Europe once a year because on my mom's side of the family, they're Dutch, so I'm half Dutch. So we'd go to the Netherlands. Okay. Well, this one time my mother got us airline tickets, not on the Dutch airline KLM. She decided she's going to save some money and go on Air India, which had some ridiculous, like 25% of the cost of KLM flights to Amsterdam. So she booked tickets on that plane. I remember this vividly, like it was filmed on a Panaflex camera. We were sitting all the way on the right on this. It was a 747, this like mid-70s, and it was us and all Indian folks. That part was fine. Where the story really starts is the moment the plane got up to cruising altitude and they turned off the no smoking lights, and basically the seatbelt sign and the no smoking light went off at the same time. Within minutes, not even minutes, within seconds, the cabin filled with smoke. And by the way, we're not talking about just, Marlboro and stuff like that. Oh, no. The Indians don't smoke Marlboro or Peter Stuyvesant or, I don't know, whatever the other cigarettes are. I don't smoke cigarettes. Anyway, they don't smoke Pall Mall. They don't smoke that stuff. Hell no. The wacky tobacco came out. And that cabin, that 747, filled with smoke. I remember it vividly. I was sitting all the way on the right on the window seat, and I remember you could not see the left side of the plane. And every time somebody walked by our seats, like you would see like the dust devils in the smoke, or you could see the vortex in the whatever everyone was smoking smoke. It was horrible. When I got off that plane, I was like, hey, never mind the fact that it was an overnight flight. Never mind the fact that it took off from JFK at like 6-something, in the evening, and got into Amsterdam at 7 a.m. And of course it was an all-nighter, because what kid sleeps on a plane? Never mind the fact that I was up all night, but there was secondhand ultra intense smoke from all the Indians on Air India. And all I remember my mother saying is, we're never flying this airline again. And she kept her promise and won BCG.
I can just imagine. Yeah, I remember flying down to Florida on spring break in the early 80s and smoking on the plane. And, it's like people used to smoke in restaurants. About 20 years ago, this was after New York, I think New York had done away with any smoking section in any restaurant, no smoking in bars. And I had to go down, I went down for a trade show to Philadelphia. And I used to go to that show every year for about 5 years. The owner of the company, one of my suppliers, used to always have names there. Like he had Pat Cooper there. I met Pat Cooper. He had Gilligan there one year. I met Gilligan. He had Bobby Bacala and Christopher from The Sopranos there. I met them there. But anyway, on the way home one of those years, I stopped in New Jersey. I forget the name of the town. It'll probably come to me. There was a diner, and I went in the diner, and there were ashtrays on all the tables, and people were smoking. I was like, couldn't believe it. Clark, I haven't smoked. First of all, about 17 years ago, I cut way down. I stopped for a while, and then kind of foolishly went back to it, but since then I've smoked about 7 or 8 cigarettes a day compared to 20 or 30. I have not smoked in a car since 1997 when I got my first very brandy new car, which was a beautiful loaded 98 Chevy Tahoe. And we had ordered the car special because I wanted a certain color. But then I brought the manual up in the house, and they had the sticker folded up inside the pouch for the manual. And I couldn't believe the sticker price because, we put like $1,000 down, and it was $400 a month. But the truck had like a $38,000 sticker price. And I'm like, I can't smoke in this thing. And I haven't smoked in a car since. I haven't smoked in my house since I own this house. So I can't imagine those scenarios anymore where you would be on a plane or on a train or anything like that and smoke at elevators. People used to smoke at elevators. I remember my father walking around the supermarket with my mother and I smoking a cigarette in the supermarket. That doesn't even register anymore.
Clark, maybe that's what our parents used to let us do that we can't let our kids do anymore, is smoke at 9 years old in a supermarket pushing a shopping cart.
Pushing a shopping cart. Yeah, that's actually, Ernie, that is a phenomenal answer to that. What were we allowed to do as kids? There's no way we allow our kids to do today. Yeah, that's actually a very pragmatic answer to that. I hadn't thought of it. Well, times change. I remember I was very young, and I ended up having this pipe. It was actually a real pipe. I had to get it I was in a play in grade school, and I don't remember the role, but my character had a pipe, which of course was fine, back then. So I ended up getting a real pipe, probably from my uncle or something like that. One of his, he didn't need it anymore, and he got a new pipe for his birthday or something. So I got his old one. So I had this, and I remember asking my mom I wanted to try smoking, and she said, okay. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm very young. I mean, I was like maybe 12, 10, somewhere around there. And I'm like, really? My mother's okay with this? Holy crap, this is really... Even at that age, I couldn't believe I was allowed to do this. And she got me the tobacco, and she didn't give me a lighter. I was given matches. I'm kind of surprised she trusted me with that. And she goes, I'm not going to refill this, but you can smoke that whole thing if you want, but just go outside. I'm like, really? Just go outside and that's it? She's like, yep, not in the house, do it outside. I'm like, holy mackerel. So I'm outside the house, and I'm, lighting up the pipe. And I knew how to do it because I watched my uncle light his own pipe, like a million times. So it's like, I got it. So I'm lighting it up, and I'm smoking it, and it was fine because I never inhaled. I never, dragged it through my lungs. I just sort of puffed on it like you would smoke a cigar, but I didn't know any better. I just did that all on my own. And so it was interesting because my mom thought, oh yeah, he's gonna come running back in. He'll have dropped the pipe outside on the driveway somewhere. He'll be green. He'll run to the bathroom. He'll throw up. And that's great. He'll never smoke a pipe again. And it totally backfired. I went back into the house. I'm like, hey, you got any more tobacco? Whoops.
Yeah, well, listen, there's always a 50-50 chance of, something like that going good or bad. I think my parents both gambled, and one of them was successful, the other one wasn't. Same thing, Mom used to smoke cigarettes. Asked to try it. She's like, yeah, suck it in and then inhale it. And I was that green Clark, throwing up, puking. But when I asked to take a sip of Dad's beer, that ended differently, and hence drinking a Genesee Light right now, but not smoking.
My parents had a dinner party, and I think I was like 4 or 5, and I was supposed to be in bed, but with all the adult chattering going on downstairs, I couldn't sleep, so I came back down, and no, actually I was younger than maybe 3 or 4, because I was super young, and I remember the story, and I ended up picking up a glass that I saw my mom put down, but I walked up behind her chair, and so I knew that the glass was hers. Of course, like all the adults were smoking, and the ashtrays were everywhere. Oh, by the way, here's a trip down memory lane. Remember those ashtrays? They were the round metal things, and they had like a button in the center on the top, like a plunger, and you pushed it down. And already know what I'm talking about. As you push it down, the metal plate underneath would spin. So the ashtray, if you put the ashes down on it, you just press the button in the center, and the plate would spin, and the ashes through centrifugal force would fly off to the sides and go inside. How about that? Anyway, yeah, we had one of those. But anyway, so I walked up to the chair where my mom was sitting, and I picked up her glass, and I took a sip of what she was drinking, and apparently one of her friends who was facing her and saw me, her eyes bugged out, and she caused my mother to turn around and look, and before my mom could turn around, I had already taken a sip of her sherry, and I'm smacking my lips together, saying something like, "Mommy's appy juice." And it's a story which I had been told like for years into my adulthood that had happened, because I would never have remembered that. But my mother was like, "Oh yeah, your first alcoholic drink was my sherry at that dinner party."
That's funny. When you were talking about the ashtray, for some reason, my brain was morphing towards the little aluminum foil ones that used to be at McDonald's, and they were like throwaways. I don't know if you remember them, but you'd be in a McDonald's years ago, and there would just be those little tinfoil ashtrays, and I think they had like 3 little cutouts, probably 120 degrees apart, where you could rest the filter of your cigarette or the contour of your cigarette on that little spot, and 3 people could have cigarettes at McDonald's while you were having your Happy Meal and getting infected in the ball pit and all the other good jazz that's also not around at McDonald's. But I'm sorry, yeah, you were talking about a different cigarette disposal device, but that was the first thing that came to mind, was darn little tinfoil ashtrays.
The Mick ashtrays, yeah, that's when the sign outside said something like 8 million burgers sold.
Yeah. Sorry to hijack it there, George. Good afternoon or evening or whatever the hell time it is in your world. I just had a couple of pennies to throw into the QSO.
No problem whatsoever. No problemo. I don't have to talk just to hear my voicemail. But if I have something to contribute, I will chime in. I remember those little foil ashtrays, yeah? Wow, it's hard to believe. People smoking in elevators, people smoking in a supermarket, people smoking in cars. God, I used to ride around, and you had the ashtray in the dashboard. You wouldn't empty it usually until it was full. So you're riding around with, pack and a half, 2 packs worth of butts in the ashtray, smoking in the car, in the winter with the heat on and the windows closed. Good God.
Hey, I got some trivia for you guys. I don't know how much flying you do, but if you are on a commercial flight and you use a lavatory, there are still in today's aircraft, like if you were an airline, you bought a jetliner, or leased it, if you look in the lavatories, they still have ashtrays. Not on the seats, of course. Those are all, those are long gone by decades. But they still have cigarette disposal things, ashtrays in the lavatories. Why is that?
I never noticed that. I haven't flown in a bunch of years. Obviously, there's no smoking signs everywhere, but I will certainly take note next time my ass is in that position, no pun intended. But yeah, my kids made a joke years ago because I up until last year, I was driving a 2001 Ford pickup truck, and in the back doors, in the handle, they have the little flip-up ashtrays. And I remember my older daughter, who was younger at the time, I hear her doing click, 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 click. I'm like, what the hell are you doing back there? Yes, I did say to a 5-year-old, what the hell are you doing back there? And she's like, I don't know, I'm playing with this little thing in the door handle. And I didn't even realize the truck still had ashtrays. I had an ashtray in the front because I have a cigarette lighter actually in the front. But I never realized that the doors in the back had the little removable ashtrays, with the little spring-loaded clip so you could pull the insert out and dump it out on the side of the road against the kick plate there on the side of the car. But I don't know, I just thought that was funny and figured I'd add it to the mix here.
Wow, that's another memory. Yeah, I forgot about those.
Well, to finish the trivia here, the reason why airliners like brand new ones made today still have ashtrays only in the lavatories is for a safety measure. And the only reason I know this is because I actually asked on a long international flight. You have so much time to kill, you can ask all the questions you want. And it was explained to me that even today, some people who, are hardcore cigarette smokers, they'll still do it. They're told, you can't smoke on the flight. There's smoke alarms in the restrooms, but, they'll go in there with the shower caps, or a plastic bag and a rubber band or whatever and try to put over the smoke detector. And by the way, that's called tampering with a smoke detector if you put a bag over it, just saying. Anyway, people will go into the the lavatories of the aircraft and smoke. The reason why there's an ashtray in there is so that's where they'll put their butts out. Before they go back to their seat and pretend like, oh no, I was just in there, doing a number one or doing a number two. Because if they didn't have it there, they'd put the cigarettes out probably in the garbage can. Hopefully it would go in the toilet or something like that. But oh no, someone might put it into the garbage can. And well, you can see where we're going with this. If you put a cigarette out in the garbage disposal with all the paper towels and a fire starts and you're on a flight filled with oxygen, well, bad things happen. And that's why there are still ashtrays in today's aircraft, N1 BCG.
If you had half a brain, you would just run it under the water before you threw it in the garbage.
Well, you're asking a lot.
Well, he wasn't asking, he was stating.
N2LJO.
KD2BRN, handle Herbie.
Boy, some things never quit.
I'm going to remember that one, Clark. That might be my new name from now on AM. I might just be known as Herbie, and thanks to you.
No, it's Herbie the Elf.
Yeah,
wasn't Herbie the Volkswagen in the Love Bug?
Oh man, George, you beat me to it.
I saw that movie. My mother, God love her, took me to Radio City to see that movie. What was that, around 1967 maybe?
They were giving away a go-kart, a Herbie the Love Bug go-kart, as sort of a promotion for that movie, and I had entered it, and I remember, this was sacrilegious. I was praying. Can you imagine that? I was praying religiously that I'd win that Herbie the Love Bug go-kart. That's oof. Of course, it didn't work. God said, "Are you serious? Just for that reason? No, I'm not granting that wish. Sorry."
That's funny. I don't remember the contest, but I remember the movie with Buddy Hackett.
Boy, he must have been pretty young then.
Who, him? I don't know. He probably died in the late 90s. He was probably 35, maybe 40 then.
Well, that's pretty young.
I suppose, yeah. I guess either one of us would take that again. Maybe not Ernie, but you and me.
Hey, no one really knows how old I am, so especially Ernie. I'm sorry, Herbie.
I'm now your new love bug, Clark.
Let's strike that from the record, Your Honor.
It's too funny. That was freaking hysterical. Man. That's one of the funniest things I've heard in a while.
I couldn't remember. It was like, who was the elf in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the special? It was Ernie, and then I get this text message, no, it's Herbie. It's like, oops, that's right, Herbie.
He was a dentist, right?
Exactly.
Well, do you see how these funny little things happen, Clark? That's a good thing. I'm okay with it.
Who was that? Who knew that Herbie was a dentist?
No, sorry, I was tuning this new amp. KB3RQU, Scott in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Hey, Scott, yeah, you're absolutely right. I was trying to, we were talking about, why were we talking about that stuff? Anyway, now, so I was thinking about some childhood memories of Christmas specials and stuff, and that came up. And I think, it's one of those circuitous paths. It's like, how did you get on that topic? Have you ever done that? You get with your friends and you're like, how do we start talking about this? And then half the fun is you go back through all the topics that you discussed over the past hour or maybe 2 hours or several hours. And everyone's had plenty of drinks and stuff, and it gets harder and harder to remember. It's like, oh, yeah, and then how do we get on that? Oh, that's right, because we were talking about this. I mean, that's like half the fun of the conversation is trying to find out, how did you get where you are?
Yeah, no, that's never happened to me before.
Yeah.
He's my second favorite next to Hard Rock, Coco, and Joe.
You know, it's funny, man. I remember everything up to you starting to tell the Christmas story or Christmas, cartoon there with Rudolph, and then I know Billy morphed it into some drug version from YouTube. But I don't remember what the hell led up to you starting to talk about Rudolph and Frosty, and were we talking about musicians where you were talking about Burl Ives? But even that, I don't know what the hell we'd have been talking about prior to Burl Ives. I don't know, but you're right. Now my brain is in reverse trying to figure out how the hell you got to Herbie the dentist.
Burl Ives was a ham.
Burl Ives was the snowman who narrated Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Hold on a second. No, I know how we got there. We started off with the Miser Brothers, and I said, yeah, it was Heat Miser and Freeze Miser, and then Phil said, no, it was Snow Miser, and unfortunately, I hate bringing this up, but he was right. And then that sort of morphed into talking about Christmas specials, and I mentioned, Bumble's Bounce, and that got us on to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which got us on to who was the one who removed the tooth from the Bumble, the abominable snowman. That character scared me. I remember when I first saw that. I know, I'm such a puss. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. When I was okay with everything until the part where Bumble showed up for the first time, and he had like the crazy eyes and the teeth and everything, and that actually freaked me out. That's how young I was when I first saw that. Yeah, it was like last year. So yeah, it was the Miser Brothers. But now how we got on to the Miser Brothers, that's where I'm coming up with a roadblock.
KA6HBK
Clark,
was
sorry to interrupt. Nick's trying to contact you via FEF chat room.
Oh wow, Nick. All right, sorry. I gotta go look at the 3873 chat room here. I'll be right back. N1BCG.
Hold on, Clark. I think what led to the heat miser was somehow we were talking about temperatures in shacks, which might have gone back to BTK with the tubes and it being cool and the in the wall fan, and then Charlie said it was like 81.5. But why we were talking about the heat in BTK shack, I'm taking us back a few steps. I don't know why we were talking about temperature, shack temperature, and you were in your wife beater and your boxers. I forgot what the boxers were. Maybe Billy remembers. But we were joking about stuff like that. But I don't know why shack temperature came in. Oh, maybe because Billy was talking about running excessive power, and we were talking about this and that. I don't know. Maybe that helps you. I don't know. Go do your FEF chat room thing or whatever it is you do in your spare time there for fun. But I don't know. Maybe that helps you out.
Yeah, Ernie, thank you for making
No, hold on.
I said I was, we were talking about what we're, oh, no, that's it. Someone asked Phil, oh, wait a minute, it was Billy. Billy asked Phil a question, and I keyed up, and I said, yeah, and the next question is going to be, what are you wearing? And Phil said something like he was wearing his 3873 attire, and then everyone started keying up saying what they were wearing, and I said, well, I'm sporting a No Fear wife beater T-shirt and Casper the Friendly Ghost boxer shorts. And then, Charlie got on and said, well, Clark, it must be really warm in your shack if you're wearing a Casper the Friendly Ghost boxer shorts and a No Fear wife beater T-shirt. And that's how we got on to temperature.
No, I keyed up and said, like, how the hell warm do you keep it in there if you can hang out in a wife beater and boxers, you know? It's like, and then I said, you know, I don't have it like that. I can't crank my heat. I'm paying the bills over here. I don't take my Range Rover up to my matching box and stuff like that in Greenwich.
No, but Bill, before that, you said I don't want to be like a subject Nazi or something like that, but this is going to keep going back now, but you interrupted whatever QSO we were having in a good way. No offense taken. You were like, you asked Phil what he was having for dinner, but that led to the other transmissions and whatnot. But I don't know what we were talking about before you interrupted and asked Phil what he was planning on having for dinner. How is that for taking us back in time?
Well, my work here is done then.
Isn't this great? If you take a QSO, you only have to go forward in topics halfway, and then at some point someone says, all right, shift to reverse, and then you have to go back. Everyone has to contribute to how did we get where we are now, and your goal is to get all the way back to the beginning of the QSO. This is why it's good to take notes. It's called breadcrumbs. And shout out to KC3SGN, Sierra Golf November. It'd be nice to meet Clark in person, always full of useful information. Wow. Walking Radio Dictionary. I don't know about that, KC3SGN. I think you're being, like, overly complimentary, but appreciate it.
Dude, everyone used to chant your name in the Twitch streams, man. They love you, Clark. You're the best.
Yeah, in the Twitchosphere.
What is this K3FEF chat room? Is it something on the SDR?
Oh, it's like top of the sixes. You have to be invited to it.
All right, well, I know my call sign has been spoken in there because I was insulting the Lonely Guys net prep, 6 hours before net time a few weeks ago. And somebody informed me that people were unhappy in the group about my comments, but I never heard from any of those set operators, and I don't know where this forum takes place, so I was just curious.
Well, if you go to the K3FEF Web SDR, not Kiwi, but the regular Web SDR, there's a chat section below it, and people can post whatever is on their mind for what they're listening to. And that's what KC3SGN did. And also Gary, WA1EIG, and the guy 1-85220-10155, who referred to me as a Chivant. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, that might have been when we were discussing your processing issues that you were having earlier. Maybe that's where that snide comment came from.
Well, now this is interesting. Hermie. My name is Hermie, not Herbie. I have been